This is my new nano shrimp tank. It's small, easy to move and maintain, and really not that expensive. It has no filter, no heater, just some generic light. And it works perfect as live, beautiful decoration for your desk. And today, I will show you how to make one for yourself. So this is my previous tank for my shrimp. It was designed to be extremely simple and had only one purpose: to increase the population of my shrimp. And it worked great, because thanks to this tank my shrimp colony is about 5 to 6 times bigger. But I think it did what it's supposed to, and it's time to make some changes. So today I took it down and will be building something more pleasant for our eyes. And this is the tank I will be working with. It's 30 by 20 by 20 centimeters and it holds about 12 liters of water. So it's small for fish, but perfect as nano shrimp tank. First thing I had to do was to put some substrate into it. This time I used advanced soil shrimp from Help. I've used it before in my other shrimp tanks and had very good experience with it. And it's needed because this time we want to have some nice healthy plants growing inside. I don't need a lot, but still enough to be able to grow some carpeting plants in the front. This should be enough. Next thing I have to work on is the first part of the hardscape. This time I will be using lava rocks, and there is very good reason for this. First, look at their surface. It's full of very tiny holes, and this is really good for the beneficial bacteria. I'm planning to run this tank without any filter, so I have to think about things like this in advance. A small filter will be running there for a short period of time to kickstart the tank, but I will be taking it away before the shrimp move in. In general, I would like this tank to have a dark forest vibe, with narrow gorge in the middle. So I stacked those rocks on both sides of the tank with some empty space in the middle, just like that. And after I was happy with the shape, I had to glue everything together for some stability. Small paper tissue plus fish safe super glue will do the trick. It works every time. The middle part seemed a little bit too empty and flat, so I decided to raise it a bit with small lava rock pebbles. It should look more realistic once everything is ready and covered in plants. Now that the basic hardscape is complete, I can move on to planting. To continue with the dark forest vibe, I want those rocks to be completely covered with moss. I have this big cup of beautiful flame moss that I would like to use. It's an in vitro plant, so first thing I had to do is to wash off the gel from it. Cup of warm water will do the trick. Just rinse the plant in the water and the gel should go off quite easily. Looks great, isn't it? Beautiful, healthy plant. Okay, great, so let's take a big knife and destroy it completely. Yes, seriously. For this part of the build, I would like to go with the dry start approach. And to do that, I had to chop this moss into very small pieces. Don't worry, it will be totally fine. With moss, I can cut it into very small pieces, just like those. Here you can see how fine those pieces are. And once I was done, I placed it back into the original cup. And this is what we get. Kind of a moss soup? It kinda looks healthy, doesn't it? But now, to make this mixture a little bit richer in the nutrients, I crushed some active substrate into it. This will create kind of a moss paste. This way, this moss inside will have the access to a lot of nutrients and will be able to grow back exactly like I want. And now, with the usage of simple brush, I'm able to paint the hardscape with our moss paste. There is no need for glue or cotton threads. Just paint it like you would paint a beautiful picture. I don't have to use a lot, but enough to cover all the area that I wish to go green over time. I would like to have the entire rock structure to be covered, so this is exactly what I'm painting. This is also one of the benefits of using this kind of rocks, because it's very easy for this moss to stick to them, thanks to their very rough surface. And I'm done! This is the result for now. But don't be disappointed with how it looks for now, because it will change a lot when it starts to grow back. And next thing I had to do is to spray everything with water to keep the moss moist. And now cover everything with plastic foil. This will keep the moisture inside and not let the moss dry out. And now I had to wait. And after just 2 weeks, the difference is pretty obvious. Look at the moss before and after. I think that the results are easily visible. Moss started to grow back and it looks really good. All that was needed during this period was light for 9 hours and occasional spraying with clean water. That's it. It looks good, but we are not done yet. For the forest look, I wanted to have a nice carpet at the front. So now I will be planting some Eleucharis parvola. This is a very small plant that kind of looks like grass and should fit perfectly for this kind of design. I actually made a separate video about this method of carpeting. I will link the video in the description if you're interested. But anyways, I planted it in very small batches in the front of the tank and left it again for 2 weeks under the foil. And after another 2 weeks, we have great growth for both the carpet and the moss. The tank looks better with every iteration, but I believe we can make it even more interesting. So I've added some Anubias nana to increase the variety of the plants, threw in some small pebbles and so on. But now we have to focus on finishing the hardscape. To imitate old tree roots, I used small pieces of spiderwood. I played with them a little and tried to make them look natural. So the point was to make those roots look like they were growing around the rocks. And after I was happy with the results, I glued them together into the rocks. I think it looks quite good already and it will only get better over time. With those sticks, it looks much more complete in my opinion. And finally, from spiderwood leftovers and trimmings from other tanks, I created something like this. This part would fit perfectly right over there. Yes, perfect. And what's the point of this? Well, I want some of the plants to grow out of this scape. And this bridge will act like natural anchor point. I want this tank to be totally wild and want this part to be covered in green creeping plants. I'm planning to put some java fern in the corner, maybe some pothos on the back and so on. At the beginning, I totally expect those plants to melt, but if I'm lucky, they actually might grow back in the immersed form. But let's give it some time and see. And finally, I think I'm ready to fill the tank with water for the first time. And for the last time in this video, let's jump a few weeks ahead. Green dark and wild. This is exactly how I wanted it. Shrimp and snails really seem to love it, and they are doing great. There are zero algae problems, so lack of filtration is not an issue at all. And even the immersed plants are trying to grow back. Look here. This guy melted away, but he's coming back. And obviously the bottles and plants in the back are something new, but I think that they are completing the scape just beautifully. Right now I'm just waiting for all the plants grow more out of the tank, and of course I will be informing you about the progress. I really hope that you enjoyed this build as much as I did. It took me almost 2 months, even though this video will be about 12 minutes long. So if you like the video, please hit the like button, it really helps me out. Comment below on how do you feel about this scape. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and as always, see you in the next one.